Imagine this, a sun-drenched street, the Louisiana heat, thick with the aroma of fried fish and the distant echo of children's laughter. Suddenly, a patrol car shatters the calm, its tires screeching against the cracked asphalt. A tall, imposing woman walks with firm steps, her gaze as sharp as a knife. She doesn't know she's about to face a man with a badge who thinks he can break her butt. He has no idea who he's messing with. This isn't just any story. It's a clash of wills, a moment that will shake a man's pride and resonate in the streets of Baton Rouge forever. Stick with me because what's coming will leave you speechless. Before we dive in, let me ask you something. If you like stories that make your pulse race, that inspire you to get up and shout yes, that's how it's done then. Subscribe right now and hit the bell so you don't miss a second of these gripping tales. Let's do this together. It was a late afternoon in April, the sun hanging low over Baton Rouge, painting the sky with golden and orange hues that spilled like honey over the broken sidewalks. Lieutenant Amani Harper moved through those streets with a silent confidence, the kind that only comes after years of discipline of facing the worst and coming out unscathed. Her dark eyes, as deep as freshly brewed coffee, scanned the neighborhood. Everything felt familiar, yet strange, like a dream you can't quite place. It had been 7 years since she last set foot on these streets, since she left behind her mother's funeral and enlisted in the army, and yet it seemed time had stood still. The same convenience store on the corner with its faded sign offering 2-for-1 sodas, the same barbershop with its worn chairs, the same basketball court where kids played as if the world depended on each basket. The smell of fried catfish wafted from old Ms. Laban's restaurant, enveloping her like a warm embrace. She didn't expect Amani adjusted the duffel bag slung over her shoulder. She wore simple clothes, a fitted t-shirt, cargo pants, and worn sneakers. Nothing screamed military, but she couldn't hide how she moved her straight shoulders, her firm chin, each step measured with precision. Her father used to call it warrior's stance, and she smiled at the memory, a fleeting glimpse of nostalgia on her hardened face as she passed a group of teenage boys huddled in front of the store. One of them, a young man of about 16 with a sideways cap, looked up, glanced at her once, then twice, and nodded. With military respect, military right. His voice was curious, almost admiring. Amani stopped, looked him in the eye, and replied calmly, something like that. The boy grinned, showing white teeth. I knew it, my cousin's in the army. He walked just like you. Before she could say more, one of his friends called him from inside, and the moment vanished like smoke in the wind. That small exchange reminded her why she had chosen this life, why she had endured years in places most only know from war documentaries. Kandahar, Fallujah, Mogadishu. She had led teams in the darkest of nights under sandstorms that swallowed sound and light, facing chaos and enemy fire. Now at 40, she was back home, walking streets that seemed to whisper memories she had buried, but that nostalgic calm shattered when a patrol car approached slowly, too slow for a neighborhood where cops usually sped by without looking back. Amani kept walking, pretending not to notice, but her instincts were already on alert. She knew the game. The car window rolled down with a buzz and a rough voice cut through the air. Excuse me, ma'am. She stopped, turning just enough to see him, Officer Derek. Simon's white, in his late 40s, with a buzzcat and thick arms that seemed to scream authority. His mirrored sunglasses hid his eyes, but Amani felt his gaze sweeping over her, evaluating her as if she didn't belong there. Can you tell me what you're doing around here? His tone was casual but loaded with something else, an arrogance she recognized. Instantly, Amani stared back, her face a mask of calm walking. Perhaps, she replied, letting a touch of sarcasm slip into her voice. Simon frowned, his smile fading a bit. We've had robberies around here, just making sure everything's in order. She didn't flinch. Did you see me robbing anything? Silence? Simon's jaw tightened, and the air between them grew thick, like the prelude to a storm. He wasn't looking for answers, he was looking for control, and Amani knew it because she had faced men like him before, types who saw a confident black woman and took it as a personal challenge. It's my job, he growled, leaning towards the open window. She took a deep breath, fighting the urge to put him in his place. Then, I'm just walking. But Simons wasn't willing to let it go. He put the car in park and got out his imposing figure, casting a shadow on the pavement. Hold on, I want to see some ID. Amani didn't move immediately. Her years of training had taught her to assess everything. Threats, exits, and tensions. And this man with his hand resting near his gun holster wasn't just a cop doing his rounds. He was trouble. Slowly, she took her military ID from her pocket and held it up without handing it over. Simon snatched it from her hand with a swift motion, turning it between his fingers as if it were a trophy. Navy SEAL, huh? He read aloud, his tone mocking as if the words were a joke. You sure this isn't fake? Amani felt a spark of irritation, but she crushed it with the same discipline that had kept her alive on the battlefield. You can check it, you'll know soon enough if it's real. But Simons didn't want the truth. He wanted a fight, and then the street began to fill with curious eyes. A young woman pulled out her phone and started recording openly. Others stopped murmuring Simon's power. So sure, just moments ago began to falter under the weight of the stairs. You got a problem, he snapped at the girl with the phone. She didn't answer, just kept recording. Amani let out a faint smile. Now he was the one being watched. Simons took a step closer, invading her space. I don't know who you think you are, but I give the orders here. Imani looked him straight in the eye, her voice low and firm. Are you sure about that? Then he made his fatal mistake. He tried to grab her wrist. In an instant, Imani reacted not with violence, but with precision. Her arm moved, breaking his grip before it formed, and Simon stumbled back, surprised. The crowd gasped. That's assault, he yelled, but Imani replied with icy calm. No, that's avoiding unnecessary contact. The man was furious, his face as red as the sunset. He called for backup on his radio, but the crowd was already on her side. Backup for what? Someone shouted. Simons was losing, and he knew it. Turn around, hands behind your back, he ordered, his voice trembling with frustration. Amani looked at him, giving him one last warning. If you put those cuffs on me, you're going to regret it. He forced a smile and reached for his handcuffs. Big mistake in a fluid motion. Imani pivoted, deflected his advance, and with a twist of her wrist had him turned around his own. Arm trapped. She didn't hurt him, but she left him exposed, clumsy, humiliated in front of everyone. The crowd erupted in exclamations, phones capturing every second. Then Sergeant William Burke arrived, an older man with eyes that had seen it all. He assessed the scene in an instant and demanded explanations. Simon stammered a lie about resisting arrest, but Burke saw the ID in his hand and knew the truth. Lieutenant Hopper, Navy SEAL, he said aloud. In the air changed Simon's pad. Burke relieved. Simon's of duty on the spot, and although Amani had the opportunity to press charges, she declined. Why not? Simons asked, stunned. She looked at him calmly. Because I already gave you the lesson you needed. As Amani walked away, the neighborhood buzzed with what they had witnessed. Simons left his career in tatters, and Burke knew this wouldn't end soon. Later, sitting on the steps of her father's house, Imani spoke with her Uncle Reed. Does this change anything? She asked. He smiled wisely. It's not about changing everything, but about changing something. And maybe, just maybe, you did. So tell me, what would you have done in Amy Naya's place? Do you think one person can change the game with a single move? Leave your comment below and share this story if it inspired you. Because these stories, the stories of those who rise and don't give up, are the ones that remind us that we all have a fight worth fighting.